Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So in this video, what I want to do is share some signs of hair regrowth. So if any of you are struggling with hair loss, alopecia, balding, or any other hair loss issue, and you are kind of questioning if your hair can grow back, will it grow back, what are some of the signs that it might be growing back, I'm going to answer those questions for you in this video. So with that being said, let's get into it. Now, for many of you who follow me on this hair growth journey, you know that I was struggling with alopecia areata. So one of the symptoms with that is, with me particularly, is that there was no hair at all in that area. So I lost my hair on the back section of my head, and in that area where there was alopecia areata, it was smooth, baby, soft, smooth. It was like there was no hair follicles, no hair at all. So if you shave, in some cases you can see, you know, your hair follicle, you can see that little hole left in the area that you shaved. Well, on my head, there was nothing like that. It was just smooth.
And right here where I'm touching, there's no hair. Like, it is absolutely bald.
So with that being said, I was very nervous, I was very anxious, I was very concerned if I was going to get hair growth. And a matter of fact, when I was speaking to my doctors, they didn't even know if I was going to get hair growth. They couldn't offer me any hope or any sort of advice. They just said, well, who knows? So in many situations when people write to me, they want to know if hair growth is possible from alopecia areata, and it is possible. As a matter of fact, a lot of you know that I had traction alopecia as well, and it's possible for hair regrowth in that area. And for some people who have dealt with other forms of alopecia and hair loss, I've dealt with so many people over the years, and they have experienced amazing hair growth. So if you are dealing with a bald spot or dealing with hair thinning or a hair growth issue and you don't know whether or not hair regrowth is possible, just know in a lot of cases hair regrowth is possible. And if you ever want more one-on-one, if you want to send me pictures or just connect with me further, then I do offer phone consultations. So you can go to my website and check that out and book a phone consultation with me. Now, if you are in a situation where you are experiencing a bald spot or major thinning and you are wondering some of the signs of hair regrowth and if it's possible for you, then one of the first things that you want to look out for is if there was any symptoms associated with that hair loss, that those symptoms are going away or that they are gone. So if you realize that you had an itchy scalp and then the hair loss came, or if you realized pain and then the hair loss came, or if you realize, you know, a soreness, a tightness, a pulling, irritation, inflamed scalp or a red scalp, and those things happened and then you noticed hair loss, one of the first things you want to make sure that you are noticing is that those symptoms are slowly getting better or they are slowly going away. Those are going to be the first telltale signs that hair regrowth is definitely possible in the nearer future. However, with that being said, there is still definitely hope that if you are still dealing with certain scalp irritations or sensations or symptoms that were happening before your hair loss, there is definitely hope that your hair can still grow back even if you are dealing with those symptoms. Now, one of the next things that I noticed is that when my hair did start growing back was that the area that was skin smooth and there was no hair follicles, I started to see the little hair follicles, and I started to feel, I couldn't see hair, but I started to feel like a very light, I don't want to say friction, but you could definitely tell that there was something there.
You can see like there's little hairs growing in. If I zoom in, you can see them more. But you can also see that there are pores where there is nothing coming out. Like, you can see where the hair follicle is, but nothing's coming out.
So that was the next sign that I knew that my hair was growing back, because you could feel something. So even if you can't see your hair, maybe it's really thin, but if you can feel it, that's a great sign that hair regrowth is possible. So as my hair started growing longer, I realized two things. The first thing that I realized is that the hair texture was not the same as the rest of my hair. So the texture of the new hair growing back was straight, so it wasn't curly. So most of you know that I have very curly hair. The hair that grew back was bone straight, and it didn't feel like my hair. It wasn't coarse. It was actually very light, whimsy hair. If any of you have ever felt like a bunny or a rabbit, that furry kind of hair, you know.
Still, but the hair that actually grew back is very soft. Like, it feels like baby hairs. It's so soft.
That's how my hair basically grew back, that it was a completely different texture. So that's one thing that I noticed. And the other thing that I noticed was that there was a gray hair or a white hair. So the color was different. The hair overall in that area was a very light brown. So the rest of my hair is very dark brown. It's not black, but it's very dark brown. And the hair that grew back was a lighter shade of brown. And then there was that one white or gray hair. Now, I've spoken to many people over the years who have dealt with hair loss issues, and as their hair is growing back, I get the stories of my hair is a different color, it's a different texture. So at the time when my hair was growing back, I didn't know that those were signs that I should be looking out for. And matter of fact, I actually thought that based on those signs, I was still dealing with the alopecia areata and I was still dealing with hair loss issues, and that my hair was not going to grow back the same or grow back at all. So I was actually very discouraged when I saw the new growth. But if you are dealing with that, if you are dealing with a texture change, or if you're dealing with a different color, then please know that that's a great sign of hair regrowth. So the next thing that I noticed when my hair was growing back was the strength of my hair was different. If I touched the hair, it was actually very delicate, and I realized that a lot of the hair in that area was falling out. It was becoming brittle. And what I thought at the time was, once again, that the alopecia areata was coming back, and the little bit of hair that I got, even though I didn't think it was, you know, hair regrowth, I thought it was still damaged hair or whatever, I was concerned that now I was going to get the bald spot back. So it wasn't until I started losing that furry baby hair that I really started to really want that furry baby hair, and it was actually giving me hope, but I didn't know it at the time. So when I started to get my hair to grow back, I was kind of looking for certain things, and I didn't realize that the little things that were happening were actually, you know, growing into a bigger picture, and that even though my hair wasn't growing back the way I wanted it to, it was a great sign that my hair was going to grow back. I just didn't know that. So what I realized was my hair wasn't very strong. It was very delicate and fragile, and it would fall out very often. That was frightening to me. That was, you know, devastating to say the least. And, you know, that is something that I want to throw out there, that could still be a sign of hair regrowth. A lot of people that I've communicated with over the years have told me that they have this hair growth and fall cycle. So their hair grows and it falls out, and it grows and it falls out. And I've been able to figure out, well, how to stop it from falling back out. So that's a different story. But in this situation, when my hair started falling out, you know, I just kept doing the regimens that I was doing before. I was, you know, massaging my scalp daily. I was using my natural products. Many of you know that I was putting the scalp balm that I have right on that area. And I just kept doing that over and over, and just really hoping and praying that my hair was not going to be skin bald again. But that was another sign of hair regrowth, but I didn't know it at the time. And I think that that was that baby fuzzy furry hair that was growing. It actually fell out, and then I started to get my natural texture growing back in. So another sign of hair regrowth is that once that new texture starts coming in, it is actually slower growing than the rest of my hair. So I realized that it didn't, you know, just fall out and start growing back and everything was all the same. It grew a lot slower than the other side. And I know a lot of people who I speak to, they say, you know, my hair is really slow. I'm still dealing with hair loss issues. The reality is that you're probably not dealing with hair loss issues. Your body's just getting into a rhythm, into a routine, you know, produce that hair. And it does take a little bit of time at first in the areas where you lost hair, but I guarantee you after a year or two, it will start growing at the same pace as the other side. Now, this present current day, you know, 4.5 years later, my hair all grows at the same rate. It's the same thickness, it's the same strength, everything is the same. So those are some of the little signs that I noticed when I was growing my hair back. And, you know, some people going through each of those different stages, whether it be the baby soft hair or the color or the hair falling back out, I just want you to know that if you are noticing anything in that area of baldness, if you're noticing just, you know, little stubbles, or if you're noticing hair that's growing but it's a different color or texture, please be hopeful that that is a great sign. What I've done is I've put together some resources on my website, or I have a hair growth ebook. So if anybody is interested on, you know, other things that I was doing to get my hair to grow and flourish, please go check out those resources that I made available for you. With that being said, if you are not following me on Facebook or Instagram, please go follow me on Facebook and Instagram, because that is how I'm staying connected with you 2017. Besides that, guys, thank you so much for watching another one of my videos. Don't be a stranger. Let's stay connected, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys.